Hello children. Yes, how are you? Okay, I hope you are doing well, and today we will continue the concept of force and the effects of force in our daily life. Okay, in the last class we have learned about the net force and we have practiced some problems, isn't it? So today we will learn a new concept. Okay, the continuation of that. Okay, so you have a habit of playing football, am I right? Yes. Or else sometimes you may kick some stones, okay, while you're walking on the streets or in a playground. Okay, now what happens when you apply some force on a ball like this? When you kick the ball, what happens? Okay, yes, your assumption is right. So the ball moves, right? The ball will be in a motion. In which direction the ball will move? Yes, in which direction you have kicked the ball, in the same direction. Example, if you kick the ball in a forward direction, okay, so will you think that the ball comes to backside? Will it move to the backside? No, obviously not. So what is the statement from these examples? So the force is having some direction. So if a body or a physical quantity is having both magnitude and as well as direction, then it comes under the vector quantity, isn't it? So the force is a vector quantity, and the force can change the state of motion of the object. For example, here is a duster I am keeping here. So unless I apply the force on this duster, the duster will not move. Even if you won't disturb this duster for 20 years, the duster will be here itself. That means because of the force, many objects and bodies are moving in this universe or in our daily life. See, for example, if you have entered into the kitchen, so what I mean, you can see many objects, okay, many things in your kitchen. So unless you apply the force on the vessels, okay, or containers or some different types of glasses, so they will be remaining at a stationary or same position or constant position. So now what happens when you apply some force on some particular objects? I have given here some examples. So what is that? Effects of force on the shape of an object. See, for example, if you have applied some force and you have stretched a rubber band, okay, what happens? Yes, your answer is right, your thinking is right. The rubber band will be stretched, but how long? When immediately you release the force, the rubber band comes to its original position. That means there is a change. When you apply some force on some particular objects, there will be a change, but that change will be temporary. When a force is not there, or when force is disappear, then immediately it will comes to its original position. That type of changes are called as temporary change. Now coming to another one, breaking glass. Sometimes you may be angry, or sometimes you may be neglecting with some for example, if you are moody, okay, your mind is not stable, then you will get some angry. And with the if you have a glass, transparent glass, unknowingly or knowingly, you will crash the glass. What happens? It will be breaking into many pieces. Now will you get, so because of that force the glass is breaking, okay, but after applying the force or when you removing the force, okay, when the force is disappeared, what about the change? This type of change is a permanent change. That means the glass again will not coming into its original state or original shape, isn't it? So like that, there are many effects of force on the shape of an object. If you tear a paper, with the help of the force itself, with the with the help of your two fingers, you are applying some force to tear the paper. But when you release your force or when you release the fingers, what happens to the paper? Will it comes to closer or will it become the new one? No. So that type of change is a permanent change. Now coming to another important concept is change in the effect of force with the area of contact. Okay. Of course, this concept is new, but the examples are very familiar to you. Without knowing this concept, we have that experience. How? The best example here, for example, I think you have a, I have a pen. Okay? It has two edges. Clearly, once you observe, it has two edges. One end or one edge is very sharpened, and the other is a round ball like structure. Now, with the help of this pen, I am applying the force. That means with the help of this pen, I am applying force on my palm. So it won't be affecting on your in your palm, isn't it? So your palm won't be affected by this force applied by the pen, which is with the other end. Now coming to the other end, can you do this? Will you apply the same force with the other end? No. Only for the smaller force you will get the greater effects. Immediately you remove your palm, isn't it? Say for example, if porter, you might have seen in railway stations, porter. So while lifting the luggage, what he will do? He will not a turban on his head. Why? Have you observed? You know your bags, school bags, you have some plastic covers, plastic handles. Why? And your luggage bags even, it is having some wider range or wider area of the plastic covers to hold the bag. Why? What happens if those things are not there on the bag? That means here it is a small conclusion. You know, if the area of contact is very less, area of contact is very low or less, like the sharpened edge of the pen, pencil, like that. So the force will be more. Remember that? When area of contact is very low, then the force will be high. But actually this is not called as a force. There is another term called pressure. Of course, we use this word in our daily life, pressure. So where do we use? Most probably with the taps. Okay, right? Motor pumps like this. So with great pressure the water is coming. The water is flowing, isn't it? So there is a pressure. This is the common word we use in our daily life. But actually the scientific definition of the pressure is a unit force act on a unit area. See, in the previous example, so what I am doing here with the help of this nib, so I am using I am applying the force on a particular area. Then this type of force is called as a pressure. Of course, in this example there is a force, but where it is acting? Exactly on a unit area, a small area, but not completely on my palm, isn't it? So on a particular area it is acting, or the force is acting, so that's why it comes under a new term called pressure. That means pressure is defined, or pressure, for pressure there are two words to be used. One is force and second one is area. So what is the relation among these three? So pressure P is equals to F divided by A. So F stands for, it is called as force, or in other words it is called as thrust, also can be called as force, and area, A for area. You know, mathematically area is equals to, what is the formula? L into B, according to your mathematical answer. The basic formula, area is equals to L into B. So L is measured in centimeter, breadth is also measured in centimeter. Centimeter into centimeter, centimeter square. We have learned in the last class that it is in a CGS system, isn't it? The lengths will be measured in centimeters. That's why I wrote here cm and cm. Cm stands for your centimeter. So multiplication of 2 cm, it becomes centimeter. For example, if it is in a MK system, if you want, so what happens? Meter into meter. So meter square. So we have derived the units of area. Then what about the force? Units of force. We have learned in the previous video or previous class, force units are Newton by area unit. Just now we have derived, that is Newton per meter square. Pressure P is equals to Newton per meter square, isn't it? So this system, in which system it is? In SI system. Is it clear? Yes. So once again we'll recall the chapter and we'll wind up the class. So first topic is effects of force on the shape of an object. When you apply some force, definitely the bodies will be in a moving, and also they can be changed the shape. So here I have written some examples: breaking glass, stretching rubber band, squeezing sponge, even you can making of chapati, okay, and many more examples are there. So some of them are temporary and some of them are permanent. Now coming to the second concept of today's class is changing the effect of force with area of contact. When the area of contact is very low, then the force or pressure will be high. If the area of contact is high, that means if the wider areas are there, then the force or the pressure will be low. So we use many instances in our daily life. Once you think, okay, so to avoid the sharpened edges, even you take knife. See, knife is having two edges. One edge is very sharpened and the other edge is little bit wider than the first one. So if you cut some vegetables with this wider area's edge, what happens? Will it cut? No, because it releases the low pressure. Why? Because area of contact is high, isn't it? Whereas if you do, or if you cut the vegetables with the sharpened edge of the knife, then immediately you can easily cut the vegetables and fruits and etc., isn't it? So the units of units of pressure we have seen today. The formula of pressure, P is equals to F by A. F stands for F stands for force or thrust, it can be called as. A stands for area, and here it is the SI units of the pressure. P is equals to newtons per meter square. Okay, so please go through these chapter or with these topics. Okay, and one more small topic and activity is there basing on this area of contact, so that I will discuss in my next video. Until that, you practice well and you write all these units of different terms of force, pressure, like that. Keep it in a record or in a fair book or something else. You practice well. Okay, thank you.